everyone. In this video I wanted to continue on discussing the topic of the last several videos about experimental knowledge, experimental religion, and what these various words really mean. But in this video I wanted to focus in on genuine experience. And we're going to talk about this in light of a statement by a woman named Ellen White. And we were looking at this statement at the end of the last video. It's from a book that she wrote called Christian Temperance and Bible Hygiene, page 109. But we didn't have time to go through it all in the last series of videos, so I wanted to make another short little series here looking at this fuller statement in page 109 and page 110. So again, Christian Temperance and Bible Hygiene, it's an excellent book, and this quotation here is just one of my favorite quotations anywhere. It's just the principles that it conveys are so important. And again, the reason why I'm making these videos on these topics is because understanding how to learn is so vitally important. Understanding how to actually come to know something, how to gain genuine knowledge. This is so important. It touches on every aspect of life. So, regardless of your background or your present beliefs, your current conclusions, whatever it may be, regardless of that, I think that you can understand these principles and apply them in a way that will benefit you. So I want to share them with you, and I ask you to just consider the thoughts that we're presenting in these videos and to test them, see if they're true. And if they are true and if they are valuable, then we hope to have benefited you. So anyways, I'm going to start from the beginning of this section again, even though again in the last video we talked about this a bit, but we want to go through this in a little bit more detail. So this is what it says. Experience is said to be the best teacher. Genuine experience is indeed superior to mere theoretical knowledge, but many have an erroneous idea as to what constitutes experience. Real experience is gained by a variety of careful experiments, made with the mind free from prejudice, uncontrolled by previously established opinions and habits. The results are marked with careful solicitude and an anxious desire to learn, to improve, and to reform on every point that is not in harmony with physical and moral laws. So this statement, just this little paragraph, and there's 3 more in what we will be looking at, but just this paragraph is so packed full of principle that, I think we need to really break it down. So let's go back to the beginning of it and we'll discuss each element. Experience is said to be the best teacher. I'm sure you have all heard something similar. People know that experiencing something is a very good way to learn it. But this next sentence introduces what might seem like a dilemma at first. Genuine experience is indeed superior to mere theoretical knowledge. Okay, so we have genuine experience. That implies that there's something that is not genuine experience. And again, this section in this book goes through to explain that more fully. So I'm sure you'll see the principle very clearly by the end of this. But there's a such thing as genuine experience, and there's a such thing as false experience. Experience which is not genuine experience. Now, what Ellen White here is saying is that genuine experience is indeed superior to mere theoretical knowledge. So not only is she distinguishing genuine experience from non-genuine or false experience, she's also distinguishing genuine experience from mere theoretical knowledge. So what is it to have mere theoretical knowledge? It's to have so-called knowledge which is only an idea in the mind. And an example of this that I'm sure many of you can relate to is, someone could go to school to learn how to build a house, let's say. And they could learn all the theory of, your measurements and how much or how many beams and how thick of beams and all of that you need in order to support a certain amount of weight. And all of that is very valuable and potentially even necessary, but it's different than building a house. That it's not with the experimental knowledge. It's just theoretical. It's just the ideas in the mind. There's an understanding of it, and theory is important. Having the theoretical understanding of something is very important, but it's insufficient. It's not experience. Experience is important to have along with the theoretical knowledge. So, continuing on in Ellen White's statement, but many have an erroneous idea as to what constitutes experience. We won't comment on this part too much yet because later in this section of paragraphs it explains it a lot more. Real experience is gained by a variety of careful experiments. Okay, so we had read another statement from this same author, from Ellen White, in the last series of videos. There's a statement from Signs of the Times, January 11, 1883, paragraph 24, which says, experience is knowledge derived from experiment. So, knowledge, genuine knowledge, again, it's different from belief. Belief is just accepting a certain idea as true. For any particular reason. It's not specified as to what the reason is. Knowledge is awareness of the truth of a certain idea and of the reasons why that thing is true, why the idea is true. So it's an awareness of the evidence. It requires a demonstration, whether by the person or to the person. But it's more than just belief. It's not just accepting something as true, it's awareness of the truth and of the reasons as to why it can be known to be true. So knowledge, again, it's very important and very different. But here's the thing, awareness of the reasons. Well, how do you determine whether or not something is true? Well, through experimentation. And in another two-part video that we have called Understanding Knowledge, we do a little experiment and we talk about the principles involved in this in order to demonstrate that knowledge requires experiment. So I ask you to go and check that out if you have not seen that video yet. So here's the thing, real experience is gained by a variety of careful experiments. That's what real experience is. You have to gain the knowledge that is your experience through a variety of careful experiments. So often many people don't just do a variety of experiments. People end up just doing one experiment and maybe even they don't repeat it. Of course, you should repeat your experiments. Have an experiment, do it once, but you have to do a variety of careful experiments. Now, those of us here where my wife and I live, and others, we have others who have moved here now too, we've been talking about these things recently, these principles of how to know things, what is genuine experience. And we have found many illustrations and examples in the things around us, the tasks that we have. One of the things that we have before us is to build some earth bag buildings, where you take these polypropylene bags and you fill them with a combination of clay and sand, and you could use other things as well, and you use that to make your walls of your building. So an example that we spoke about here recently is, well, how do we know what the right mixture is for these earth bags. Well, what is our sand to clay ratio? How do we determine that? Well, there's a few ways that we could go about it, but really it comes down to doing experiments. So what kinds of experiments will we do? Will we just do one experiment and just go with that, not even repeating it? Or what would be better? Wouldn't it be better to have a variety of experiments and to repeat them? So let's say we take 10 earth bags and we have different ratios of clay to sand. Okay, so we take them, and let's just say you take them, you sit them outside, and then you have an experiment where you drop them all from 20 feet in the air, and to see, which one breaks, because you have to set it out and let it dry and solidify and so on. So you drop them. Okay, well, if you go and you see that, 4 of them broke and the other 6 didn't, and then you just kind of picked at random one of those 6, that wouldn't really give you the best earth bag. Well, you know perhaps that it's better than some of the others, but still that's not enough experimentation. And even if you just did that same experiment again, okay, well, let's do another 10 earth bags. And let's have the same ratios, and let's drop them from 20 feet again in the same places and everything. Well, you'll probably just repeat the same results, and it still won't give you what you really need to know. You need to have a variety of careful experiments. So what you could do is you could take those bags, you could fill them, and you could have a number of experiments. You could say, okay, let's take them all and let's do an experiment with taking them, putting them in the same place, and hitting them with a sledgehammer, seeing how they fare. Rather than just dropping it from 20 feet, how about dropping it from a different measurement, 10 feet, 30 feet, whatever it may be? How about hitting it against something? How about building a little bit of it as a wall and hitting it with something? How about just putting it, building a little wall with the different measurements and subjecting it to water? How about subjecting it to fire? How about, you could try different things, doing a variety of experiments and repeating each experiment and having controlled conditions. If you take your 10 bags and you drop them, but you don't drop them in the same spot, you drop them on different surfaces, even if it's all just ground, but the ground in one spot happened to be a little bit uneven and the ground in the other spot happened to be even, well, you'll end up breaking a bag, but it's not about the strength of the bag, because the other one, if it dropped in the same spot, it perhaps would have broken as well. So you have to take a lot of things into consideration. You have to be very careful with how you go about things and conduct, again, a variety of careful experiments. Now, with certain things in life, we tend to kind of automatically think in this way, where we recognize the need to test things before just going with something. The unfortunate reality is that too often we make exceptions to that rule. And especially when it comes to religious things, people don't see the need to experiment. People just tend to think that you can just believe whatever you want and that that's okay, and maybe that's true for you. But that's not how we can arrive at truth. We cannot arrive at knowledge using those sorts of methods. We have to experiment. That's what we must do in order to come to sound conclusions. That's the only way to gain genuine knowledge. So anyways, there's much more to what we're looking at. So I'm going to stop this video and we'll continue on with a next part to this series. So see you guys then.